Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I am Primetime 000, and with me, as always, is my trusted weekend co-host, Tiny Titan. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just ready to talk some SML football since I don't know how to play.
I'm not going to comment on that. It's we're just going to move right past that. Sounds like you defeated COVID. You're going to make it out, which is good. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about somebody who's defeating the SML competition. A little segue there. First down, Coach Pauly, undefeated, blowing his way through the competition. And the power rankings I've been doing, shameless plug, I have him as number 2 best player in the league right now. What's your thoughts on Coach Pauly?
Man, he's doing good this year. If you look at the guys he's beat, it's RD, Dump, Meats, so he's obviously going to sweep the NFC West, and NYT, and beat undefeated Matt 28-10. So, man, he's really just taking care of business right now. And what's really interesting is his team's overall is only 82.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot because mine is 80, and I cannot get anything going this year. And I was looking at the rest of his schedule. Really, the only tough games he has left is you, Dan, and Bomber later on towards the end of the season. And those could be big for seeding purposes, but at worst, I don't see him going any worse than 13-3.
Yeah.
And just for you, man, when you play him, you better be finding some good pass plays because he's only letting up 175 yards passing a game. It's 7th in the league. So he's got it figured out, man. He's playing really well this year.
Yeah, he's got a top 10 scoring offense, top 10 scoring defense, just all over the board. Just a good player. He's got that X-Factor quarterback. I think he's shopping right now, and he's doing it with a team that still isn't that great. I could imagine with the, for example, Jacksonville, where they have stars all over defensively now. Pauly with a team like that could be very, very scary. He already is scary, and I think that this is the best I've seen Coach Pauly play since he's joined the SML. This Dolphins team's getting better. He's kind of dialed in now, and I would say watch out because this Dolphins team is legit. And right now, if the season ended today, he's the only undefeated team in the AFC, which means he would have the first-round bye. Coach Pauly is legit. And he hasn't, like you said, he hasn't played any guys who are weak, really. NFC West is supposed to be this division of doom, and Coach Pauly's on cruise control right now. So that's interesting.
He's definitely showing that. I mean, most of the guys that are, for example, Matt, his beginning schedule wasn't the hardest.
Yeah.
But Pauly's I went and looked at his schedule. I was like, good Lord, man, he hasn't had any breaks, and he's still taking care of business.
Yeah, no, that's true. So let's move on. Coach Pauly obviously studies the game quite a bit. And moving on to our next topic, there's some guys who kind of know the game of football, and they know football concepts and what plays work against what coverages and different play action concepts. And then there's guys who seem to know the game itself. There's guys who use animations and know how to trigger certain animations, and they just know how the game works. What do you think kind of makes a better Madden player, and does it take that to win a championship? Is it really the Madden guys more so than the football guys?
Well, see, and as you know, this was a question I wanted to bring up. I would like to hear what the rest of the league has to say if they could comment after they hear the podcast in the group chat. But as I've been struggling, I sit there and think, and I'm like, well, I mean, do you just do football concepts, or do you need to sit here and study the game and learn, when your guy breaks, what the safety or corner animation is supposed to look like for you to make sure you're going to get a pass completed there. Just simple things like that most Madden players are going to know that's played for years and years and years over time. Now, I think, it takes obviously some football IQ. You can't, like my 7-year-old, for example, he will be playing MUT and he does coach suggestion on defense. And I'm like, dude, you can't blitz everybody when it's, 4th and 15, doing a cover zero.
Yeah.
He'll just pick it thinking he's going to blitz and do okay. So you got to have some football IQ. but you've got to know how the game works. And I think even you, that I don't think is, specifically, you know, basing your game off how Madden just works. You got to know how certain guys are going to run and just how the players are going to work out. I mean, that's just part of it, and that's something I haven't figured out.
Yeah,
But Paulie's a good example, I think, of a guy that knows football. He knows more Madden than he acts like he does, but he knows football to the T, and that's helping him out a lot.
yeah. I think that there's a lot of guys, and we have this NFC versus AFC conversation all the time. And I think when you look at the NFC, you have guys like Faz, guys like Meats, guys like QP, who seem to be Madden guys. Not that their football knowledge is low by any means, but they seem to know how the game works. I remember Meats, for a perfect example, last cycle, he knew exactly what abilities were the best. He knew, how the game was going to react, and he mastered the game perfectly. So, and what happened was you get in these playoff games, and it takes some game management, and he would just fail at like clock management. He took a timeout to help Conk win a playoff game. So there's guys who do have this great knowledge on the game, but it still requires some football knowledge. The really scary guys are guys like QB who were combinations, who he knew football and knew Madden, and that was like really good. That he was really good. Dan's a little bit like that. I probably know more about football than I do the game. I think you just play a lot and you see certain guys who know a lot about the game. And typically if you take away one thing that they're really good at, then they don't have a plan B or a plan C. And that's the one knock on the guys who know more about Madden than they do football, is they don't know how to react if you stop their really good strong suit. So I don't know. It's just something interesting to consider for sure. I think you do need to know a bit of both, like you said, but those guys who know Madden seem to really put up a lot of points and win a lot of games for sure.
Yeah, I think your Meats example was a pretty good example. Like you said, well, I'm not trying to say that he doesn't know football,
Yeah.
but he knows. I mean, he definitely knows how to play the game and stuff, and that time management deal stuff. And so, just me saying, like in the playoffs, it is probably more football
Yeah.
than Madden because like the old cliche, the game slows down, everything's more physical, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I've watched y'all. Of course, I get to watch your playoffs all the time. Your playoff games get that way for the most part, and
Yeah.
and like I said, if you guys don't care, just kind of make your comments in the group chat of what you guys think after you hear this.
Yeah, no, that'll be interesting for sure. I'm sure we'll get some interesting opinions. Let's move on to a third down. I think heading into this season, it was kind of a toss up, but I kind of expected more out of the NFC South. You have the Panthers, you have Lawyer, you have Field, and Colt 45, and really, I don't think anybody in that division has more than 2 wins so far. What's going on with the NFC South? And I guess to ask more into that, who do you think is going to win that division?
Dude, I don't know what's happened. I think it was my head was a little cloudy last time, but I think it was last episode when we talked about how D Muse
Yeah.
was coming in and just kicking butt and taking names, man. And ever since he has done nothing, man.
Yeah.
He's lost to a football team, Rowan and Dan. I mean, that's not bad losses or anything, but I mean, we were kind of expecting him to be on the up and up. But he's got the Eagles, he's got Future, Grams, Colt, and RD. I mean, he could lose or win any of those games, really, depending on
Yeah.
just how he does. He's really the only one I have any sort of faith in, just because of his quarterback and how he played toward the end of the season and the faith we had in him at the beginning of the year. Lawyer's so randomly up and down. Your brother was kind of down at the beginning when he came back, and then he kind of seemed to figure out the game a little bit. Now he's kind of went back down, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I would have my faith in D Muse to win the NFC South, but we need to see about 3 or 4 more weeks, see if he can get
Yeah.
back on his feet.
The thing about D Muse is, and I said it last season, I said that he couldn't. I didn't think he had the skills to win the NFC or run away. And then I kind of bought in because he beat Faz. And then he had a chance to really solidify that. He played the Washington football team, and he lost by 14 points. Then he had the bye week. Then he turned around and played Rowan Kuh, who's not really a legit contender most seasons. And then he lost to him. And then he had a chance to prove it again and played Dan and lost to him by 28 points. So what we're seeing with the Panthers is kind of a trend of he can beat the good guys and maybe, obviously the guys below him, but can he beat the top end talent? And right now it's showing that he can't. He can't do it. So I'm struggling to buy in on this Panthers team now. He's got Russell Wilson. He's got Christian McCaffrey. His team's 85 overall. But his defense, 21st in scoring, offense, 15th. They're just mediocre. And at 2-3, he's leading his division. But I don't see a Super Bowl right now in the cards for the Panthers if they continue to play like they do. But I still think they're the favorites in the division. I just don't know if any of the NFC South teams this season is a legit Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I would say don't sleep on Colt. He seems to be very hot and cold.
Yeah.
He'll play really well some games and then just kind of be like, WTF, what happened this game?
Yeah.
But, if he can get on a little run, maybe he can, step up there and win that division.
Yeah, Colt 45 did beat Dan, so he can beat the good players. It's just getting it all together. Let's move on. Fourth down now. I seen something interesting as I was going through the standings in the AFC North. There's a lot of emotions in that division, and I think there's a game going on right now, possibly. But right now, as we stand, Terrible Two-Step is tied for first place in the AFC North. Are we seeing the resurgence of SML OG Terrible Two-Step?
This is a combination of like 6 things. The first that I would say is their division has the worst schedule I have ever seen. I just kept going through the guys and looking through it. I'm like, Lord have mercy, man. Like they play the top guys in both conferences. It's crazy. So I think, yes, even KJ could still win this division. But man, his wins, Two-Steps wins, are against Raider, Latin, and Coop. Coop is your best win there, and Coop's nobody to sleep on. But, and then his losses was against the football team, Grahams, and the Eagles. Those aren't really bad losses. So I don't really know what to think, and he hasn't played a division game yet. So, really, Two-Step, it's all in his hands, honestly, if he could just win his division games. Because his 4 out-of-division games left are Rowan, Dan, Future, and Death Wish. So he could lose all 4 of those, but say he goes and wins all but one of his division games, he would still end up winning that division. Because I think 8-8 is probably going to win that division, and I'm going to take NYT to win at 8-8, and it'll probably be a 3-way tie, 2 or 3-way tie, and it'll be on tiebreakers, I would say. To finish off that division.
No, that's pretty much what I was going to say there. I think that the Ravens are still the favorite by a frog hair in that division. It seems like in a division of inconsistency, NYT is the most consistent. And he's 3-3, and I think he's actually playing Woods right now. So I'd have to check on the status of that game.
Yeah, they are.
So and I'll probably look like an idiot. But NYT's kind of won the division. Woods seems to emotionally, mentally, I don't know what's going on in the head of the Cleveland, but it's not good. Whatever's happening down there is not good. So I'm saying NYT's the favorite in that division. Obviously, come week 12, everybody in that division is going to start losing. They do every season. So it really is a crapshoot, but don't count out Two-Step and don't count out KJ because everybody's within 2 games. Nobody's running away with it quite yet. And so just like the NFC South, it's anybody's freaking game. You just gotta clutch up and play. And as we're recording this podcast, NYT is down by 10 against the Browns.
Shit.
But who knows?
I will say Woods has already played in his schedule.
Yeah.
Dan, football team, Future, and Rowan. So he's got a few of those rough games out of there, but I'm pretty sure he plays you and Bomber still. Like I said, besides them beating up on each other, the rest of their games are terrible, man. They have no good, easy, quote-unquote, easy games this year. Yeah,
and Woods did play some good competition early in the season and played them very close. I know he played Dan should have beat Dan, really. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, he actually dominated that game at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's anybody's game. Let's move on now to the extra point. This is kind of a thing. There's probably, I'd say, around 10 guys almost, give or take, throughout the SML now that commentate their own games or even make posts on Twitter afterward or in chat afterward or during even. They seem to say they seem to not take accountability. They seem to point the finger still at the game. What's kind of your thoughts on that? Maybe if they're throwing interceptions or something along those. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think as a whole, this group we have now is not bad at all about that. Most of the time, they're going to go in there and say, "Oh, Madden screwed me," but you know, that's my fault for not taking advantage at certain times, etc.
Yeah,
I remember previous cycles, man, there were a few guys when I go to play, I'm like, man, if I beat this guy, I know he's going to complain. I don't even really want to win
yeah,
because he's just going to complain and complain and complain afterwards. For an example, in a lower league I play in, just to kind of get some extra reps, I played a guy last night. He was swearing up and down. It was lagging every time he would get a sack.
yeah,
And there was a guy that messaged me watching the stream, told me, he's like, I didn't see any lag. So we restarted. I still won by like 14.
nice.
And I was like, man, I mean, was there any lag then? Was
Yeah,
So I don't, it's I hate the excuse making. I sometimes get upset. There was like 2 games this year where I've had some crazy calls. I had that phantom roughing the kicker on a big field goal when I had actually set my controller down and
yeah,
walked to get a drink because I was upset.
yeah, yeah,
And my dude roughed the kicker out of nowhere. I haven't had that happen to me yet.
yeah,
That was the first time it happened, so it blew my mind. I was so upset. But I try to just, most guys in this, or everybody in this league, is good Madden players, and that's going to happen. I mean, you hear Bomber complain on his stream, but I've never actually thought Bomber was legit being like,
right.
that was my game. There's no reason why I should have lost, or there
Yeah,
was lag, or he's never really been anything like that. He's more just having fun on his stream, I think.
yeah,
And in general, this whole group is pretty understandable, whether they get screwed Madden or not.
yeah. I think you hit it on the head there. I think when people are live on stream, you get kind of a natural reaction, and that's not always like what
Yeah,
actually represents their feelings. Like after the emotions of the game are done, then they could probably look back on it and say, okay, like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have thrown that pass or whatever. So
yeah,
sometimes the streams, you can't really take that at face value. Something, I don't really like the excuses, kind of like you said. For example, like me, I've got historically bad internet. Everybody knows that. My internet was always, I could never really stream. But at the end of last cycle, around the time I played Sunday in the Super Bowl, my internet took a dip, and I almost like that Super Bowl was almost a sim. But anyway, and ever since then it's just been terrible. I mean, I could go off. I missed a lot of field goals, and beyond that, it doesn't just lag in field goals. It lags in pass attempts, run attempts. I miss holes all the time. I get sacked on plays. I throw interceptions because of it. But the point is, I just try not taking away from guys' wins, whether it's a playoff game or it's I threw an interception to lose a game against Bomber because my game lagged up, and I threw a pick in a 2-minute drive just this past playoff. But and you get pissed about it, but you try not to take away from a guy's win. I just feel it's disrespectful. They earn the win no matter what. So, and I don't think we really have that issue here, but it's something to keep in mind for sure. I do.
you saying that made me.
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I do have one pet peeve that you kind of hit the nail on as well. There's certain guys I play in the playoffs, or not the playoffs, throughout different seasons, whether I play them once every 4 years, and I kind of dread playing them because I know there's some beef, and whenever I beat them, they're always going to have some complaint, and they're always going to have something to point the finger at. I kind of do dread playing those guys from time to time.
Yeah, and like I said, we don't really. I don't have that issue as much anymore. It probably helps that I don't beat many people. But what I was going to say is I didn't think about what you said, but that is something that really has bothered me. When somebody complains, they'll normally still say, GG, but blah, 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 blah. And it's
Yeah,
like, you're
yeah,
taking away from everything good that I've done.
yeah,
Like I played well for 99% of that game, and you're going to take that 1% of something crazy happening into account for the whole, 28 minutes of the game we
yeah,
played.
yeah,
That's, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That does tick me off as well.
Yeah, don't the good game, but like just leave the but out because
Yeah.
something bad's gonna come. No disrespect, but you shouldn't have won that game. Pretty much is how that goes. But no, I mean overall, I don't think we have a problem, but it's something to always probably keep in mind. I'm sure we're all at some point here or there salty after a loss, and it's just how you kind of control
Oh
that.
yeah, definitely.
And we're all probably guilty of saying things after losses that that we probably shouldn't have said. So it's natural. It's natural.
Yeah, but that is one thing I've always tried to make sure is I always will say good game. But if I have some kind of complaint about what happened, not with the player in general,
Yeah.
but if just something crazy happened, I want to make sure that they know I
Yeah.
should have lost anyway, or you should have won anyway.
Yeah.
But can you believe this happened, or just
Yeah.
showed them a replay of it or something? Just like, man, this is crazy. Just I hate taking away anything from anybody whenever they've deserved the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. So, no, man, that's good. Good conversation there. We're around 20 minutes. So guys, let us know your thoughts. What do you feel about the accountability in the SML? And also, what do you feel about what makes a great player? Is it mainly Madden? Is it mainly football knowledge? A combination of both? Which way is it leaning? Let us know in chat. Obviously our group me chat. If you haven't joined the league yet, and if you're listening this far in, apply today. SimMaddenLeague.com. I'm Primetime. He's Tiny, and we'll get you next week. Thanks for listening, guys.